Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. I couldn't let the story pass me because if it was my little brother or my brother, I would want somebody with a platform to talk about it, to discuss. And if at the least a lesson could come out of this, in these times we're going through, the lesson would be Tana Uno Yard. Enough people are going like them can't stay home. And what's up? I thought home is where you wanted to be. Well, I guess it really hits different when you are forced to be at home as opposed to stay if you want to and leave if you want to. Anyhow, this story, the headline, taking this one from The Loop. I haven't dealt with The Loop in a long time. Shout out to The Loop. 19-year-old reportedly dies after curfew encounter with the cops in Mobay. How did this happen? I can tell you first offhand. Anyway, let's go into the story first. So the story says that the Independent Commission of Investigation, or INDECOM, has confirmed that it has launched a probe into the circumstances behind the death of the 19-year-old male of a suspected heart attack over the weekend while being reportedly pursued by police officers who were enforcing the ongoing nightly curfew nationally across the country. In Montego Bay, St. James is where this one took place. The teenager, whose name is Carmichael Dawkins, had been in the company of a friend, and the two youngsters had gone downtown Montego Bay on Saturday to do some shopping. Let me pause for a second and say this. If the food run out at your house, right? If you need emergency medical supplies, those things are considered essentials. Those things you go out shopping for. I don't know what this 19-year-old went out shopping for at this point, but the place under lockdown, the place under curfew. A curfew was put in place, and he was caught out there after curfew. Anyway, the whole situation is explained. But again, if at the least we could get out of this right now, just so you don't have to go tangle up with Babylon out there, or police, or however you want to refer to them out there, keep out the way. Stay home. Alright? It's safe now for me and for you and the whole away for just staying at the house. All when it bored, tell you all to chip the paint off my wall with your finger them, so stay in at the house. It's safer there. Ask Elephant Man. Anyhow, they were in downtown Montego Bay about 7 p.m. this says. But they couldn't get a taxi home. They were trying to rush home. So Carmichael decided that he would just go to his friend's house first, and then he would grab a taxi from his friend's house. They were walking along Jarrett Street when some police officers pulled up to them and asked them some questions and then left them alone. Then a new set of police officers pulled up, asked them some questions again, but this time, they told them to run, Bwaaiii, run! They started running. Carrie Dawkins Ricketts, one of the aunts of the deceased, told Loop News this is her understanding of what happened. And I guess the friend that was with him that survived told the aunt this. Allegedly, guessing, but I saw the story printed, right? Before I read any further, let me say this. I am no stranger to Jamaican culture. I am no stranger to the way how things are done on the ground in other place. So, I've seen instances before where police pull up on man and tell man to run. Run away from run, ya boy. And you have to take off like a track star. Them all back them gun and aim it so. And then I never saw any shots fired, but I saw that. Back the gun and aim it so. And man have to run and a duck and a run. So, to say that this is impossible or it didn't happen, I wouldn't put it past them. Right? When the sister curfew soon up, soon start, run! And them a run. And of course, he's probably not used to that kind of a thing, so him take off, right? And him afraid, and him a run fast, And on top of that, adrenaline pumping. Did he have a heart condition, anything like that prior to? Let's find out. The police started to drive them down with batons until my nephew collapsed. So not only did they tell them to run, they were driving them down while they were running. Now you can only imagine your fear is only getting more and more. What am I going to do to it? After all, this is Jamaica we're talking about. There are a lot of rogue cops out there. Do things to people and get wet. He is believed to have had a panic attack. He was not used to this kind of treatment. She said that this is a young man that don't even talk patois, you know. So one of them type there. The police didn't even carry him to the hospital. They waved down a taxi and told the taxi man to carry them to the hospital. So you would think the police vehicle would throw him in a police vehicle, leave some people on patrol and make an emergency run to the hospital. No. They stood out there and waited for taxi to come through, waved down the taxi. Now remember, a curfew, so, and if curfew is about to start, then taxi shouldn't be out there either. But they waved down the taxi, the police waved down the taxi allegedly, according to how the story is being told, and throw him in a taxi and tell the taxi man to carry him to the hospital. This is what she also said occurred. Carmichael was rushed to the intensive care unit ICU at the hospital, but he later died. His friend, who shared the experience, later recounted the disturbing story to the family, including to Carmichael's father, Michael Dawkins. Basically, the youth are telling them what was happening. My brother is devastated. He hasn't stopped crying since Saturday. I took him to the doctor for him to get medication to calm him down, but he is not taking them. He is taking it very badly. This is his one and only son. That's what she's saying. This is her brother's child, and this is his one and only son. This is his first child and his only son. They were like best friends. He has a daughter with his wife as well, but they are separated. I don't know how he is going to get over this one. The police them too terrible, is what she said. The friend says that they are laughing when they were driving them down. The friend says that the police were laughing when they were driving them down. Run, boy, run! Over the last few days, there have been a number of videos circulating on social media with security personnel and some police officers forcing people who are caught out breaking curfew to perform humiliating and sometimes potentially dangerous activities as punishment for being in violation of the curfew order. And that is one of the videos that I saw, even though the one that I saw was not in Jamaica. Or was it? I have to go look at it again. I think it was Jamaica. The police then pull up. Where are daughter? He said, the guy tried to explain himself before he could even get halfway through one sentence. Here what? Run! He looked like this and they said, where still stand up for? And he took off running. And they're driving him down. Ooh, run, boy, run faster. Ooh. And the guy ran till him shirt are flying at the wind. He's running. That's how he was breathing. And the police them drive up on him and say, don't want to see you again out here. Go home. To some people, they'll say, well, that's better than arresting him, carry him going to jail, handcuff and all these things. To others, they'll say, how about being humane? If him house they're close by, put him on the back of the Jeep and drop him off in the yard and tell him, say, next time I see you out here, it not go pretty. Something like that. But you forcing people to do these things, not knowing what their underlying health issues or their health condition is. Now this youth might have had a heart problem that was unpronounced. You know what I'm saying? And him fearing, running for his life, panicking, and being over-exhilarated led to death. Right? Dawkins Ricketts said that she made a formal report with Indicom, as well as a report at the Freeport police station. Carmichael Dawkins was employed at a local call center before this whole something we are go around what cause everybody feel lucky in right now. And that caused a furlough, a work furlough. So he was pretty much laid off, right? And he was at home over the last few weeks before going to meet up with his friends in downtown Montego Bay. He was a graduate of Cornwall College in Montego Bay, Jamaica. He was a soft-spoken kid, and he had so many dreams. He wanted to be a computer technician. He was healthy as far as we knew, and for him to be snatched away from us so cruelly, this is heartbreaking, said Dawson Ricketts. An autopsy, which was scheduled for April 21st, has been postponed since Indicom launched its investigation, the Dawkins family has said. And let me end this video now by saying this again. Rest in peace to this youth, and let this be a lesson to the rest of y'all, right? At the end of the day, the family members you leave behind can argue in your defense, but the fact of the matter will remain that you probably endured abuse which led to your death, and more than likely it will probably never be proven as they did anything wrong. So the best thing to do right now, not only to not get or spread that something that we are go around, but to also stay out of the way of the security forces that are out there doing their job. I can't imagine, some of them are probably frustrated, like them one day them yard too, but they have to be out here, and they'll be out here and they see you and all this free time on them hands with probably very little witnesses, if any, out there, because everybody else is trying to be locked in by curfew. You're left at the mercy of. Stay at your yard. Turn in at your yard. Blessed Love says, this is very sad and unfortunate. So these officers were having some retarded fun, allegedly, at the expense of these youngsters, realizing that one of them collapsed. Now their sworn responsibility is to serve and protect, right? So how come they did not take him to the hospital to get medical attention? Because if they did, that means that they would be taking responsibility for their actions. Hence, they put him in a taxi. Just goes to show that these officers don't have a heart, some of them, or a conscience. And unfortunately, nothing is going to come of this case. So the message is clear. Be in your home before 8 p.m. as long as this curfew lasts. Because you have wicked and evil members of the security forces that are out there, and they have the criminal. Condolences to the family. And I hope justice is served, which I just think is probably wishful thinking. Bipolar Girl says, now, I wonder if the police commissioner sanctioned such behaviors that I'm seeing nowadays, where police really having persons run and do all kind of stunts. Where is iProbe? Now, if they really left the kid to die and had another taxi take him, then they deserve some kind of punishment. That's where it gets wicked in my view. No, Bipolar Girl, it got wicked in my view when they started telling them to run and were chasing them down with the vehicle. Anyhow, every second counts. Now the police won't win this case mainly because there are witnesses to the fact. So I suspect that the government better reach out to settle this case outside of court. The kid perhaps was running for his dear life, being pursued by armed cops. He was following an unlawful command. Run. Here are. If you're depending on that kid to be the eyewitness that is supposed to make this go the right way, justice served through the legal system, not gonna happen. It's his word against theirs, and it can easily be refuted because you'll probably have about 4 police that were on that vehicle and patrolling, and they're probably going to say the same thing for each other, and your story don't go so. Alright, we've seen this happen too many times. For them say uno tana uno yard. If him have friends at Jarrett Lane, anyway, speaking standard English don't separate him from the law of the land. I hope many more learn from this. These youngsters are too daring and they make people job harder than it is already. Now, I don't know what he meant by if him have friends at Jarrett Lane. I don't know if Jarrett Lane I want get a place, bad people, mad people place, and they're saying him have friends at Jarrett Lane. You know what kind of people come from around at Jarrett Lane? Anyhow you come from around at Jarrett Lane and have friends around there, so then you must speak patois. So I don't know what she talk about. Or they're saying that Jarrett Lane is an upscale place. I don't know. I've never been to Jarrett Lane. Please answer in the comment section below. Make we talk about this some more. Rage Gishi says the young man was not deserving of this treatment. The comment about him not speaking patois is only to let you know that he is a soft-spoken person and he's not boisterous. So don't try and muddy the waters with your comments. The alleged police officers could have managed this much better. Shame on the alleged officers who would treat this young man in this manner. Jamaica has lost a young man destined for greatness. He was a gentleman. Listen, to Rage Gishi, let me say this. Because you speak patois, it doesn't mean that you're loud and boisterous either, young lady, or whoever you are. It don't mean that you're young and you're loud and boisterous because you speak patois. So even his aunt saying he doesn't even speak patois, she's probably more trying to say that he's a college graduate, he is well spoken, he has a kind of a demeanor that is not boisterous, and he doesn't even speak patois, meaning they were probably shouting at him in patois and him not even can, you know, he was in shock because he's not used to that kind of a treatment. He's used to being around people that have some kind of couth about them. He's not used to being around uncouth people. That kind of thing she was probably saying. I know a lot of people that speak patois and they are very soft-spoken. Them don't talk the patois like this. Because they don't want nobody look for me like some mystery and John them something there. And them talk like that. And them just quiet. So because you speak patois doesn't mean say you're a loud and boisterous person. Anyway, may I read one more comment. Somebody says, you chat too much. He went to get food and time catch him. Probably the taxi stopped running early, made it difficult to go home. So my girl, if the taxi did stop running, how come them flag down a taxi and put him in there? Y'all make no sense though? Sometimes give the benefit of the doubt and stop quick to judge. Whether or not he must have explained to the police, but Jamaica police behavior is not right. They are ones who would set order and people are scared to speak to them. That's why so many killings going on, because no one have no trust in them, which is a shame. The Prime Minister must let them pay for this wrong. Why chasing him and then put him in a taxi? They have a duty to care. I'm going to leave it right there. Alright? All I'm saying is, if this was, no, I can't help but read the last comment here. Sorry, I have to read the last comment here. The person said, a child? Question mark. A man? The man is 19 years old. I thought the age of consent in Jamaica is 16. I bet you if I ran into him in Jamaica and he was doing something out of line and I tried to correct him, he would probably cuss me out. I tried doing just that in Ocho Rios about 5 years ago when I saw a schoolgirl attacking a schoolboy with a pair of scissors and she turned around and tried to stab me. I had to run for my life. Alright, enough. Stop judging people by your experiences with other people. This youth was not the girl where you tried correct with the scissors and she turned around and tried to stab you. You cannot sit here and say, imagine. We're not imagining. He lost his life in reality. His family is grieving in reality. I'm father, one picnic in reality, in one son. Anyway, he has a daughter by his wife. They're divorced. It's his only son. It's reality. So stop talking about this imagine. And if he was, you never catch him or do nothing. You never ever tried to correct him. You have never spoken to this child in your life or this young man in your life. It's funny when we talk about light-skinned and white-skinned people and all when them reach 19, 20 years old, they talk about young man or child. And we sap it up. But when it's our own, from them say 17, yeah, say a big man that man. Age of consent at 16, a big man that. Do you remember being 19? For those of you who are over 30, do you remember being 19? I'm sure you look back now and laugh at your 19-year-old self and some of the dumb stuff that you did. Anyhow, leave your comments in the comment section below. And remember, like I said before, this is about all of us. I'm out. Peace.